Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the most engaging wrestling show on the entire interweb. Welcome to Wrestling with Omer. We have some very important topics to talk about today. Most notably, as we said in the title, Jeff Hardy getting arrested. If you haven't seen my video about that earlier today, go check that out either after this stream or right now if you want to, where I kind of talk about what happened and more of the news aspects of it. And right in this stream, in this show, I will get into what I think is going to happen based off of his wrestling future. I'm not going to get into his personal life. I'm not going to get into Jeff Hardy's addictions in a very speculative way and things like that in his past, especially, or speculate on what's going on right now. I refuse to do that because I don't think it's good to beat someone down when they're facing a serious situation like this, but we'll get into that. Welcome everyone in the chat. Cincy says, can't defend this. Yeah, I mean, it's not about defending it. It's just about talking about it, and it's unfortunate news. MGT says Jeff Hardy needs to retire. So there were people who thought that before this happened. Like, there were genuinely a lot of people who believed that before this news broke that Jeff Hardy was arrested. Let me give you the rundown of what happened, everyone. By the way, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new video is released. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave a 5-star review. Go over to youtube.com/RealTakeSports and subscribe. So this is the report, and this has been, and this is like all around on all the different sources, whether it be F4W or WrestleVotes and Fightful. They've all reported this. According to the Volusia, I probably didn't say that right, County, Florida records, AEW superstar Jeff Hardy was booked on June 13th, the early hours, I should say, of June 13th, for violating restrictions placed on his driver's license, driving with a suspended license, and driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. The final one is the third such offense he's had, the third such offense of DUI in the past 10 years, which he is facing a serious charge at that point. Like, that is no joke. He could be facing potential jail time there. 44-year-old Jeff Hardy obviously has had some problems in the past. He apparently suffered a concussion at AEW Double or Nothing, and that's kind of why people were saying that maybe he wasn't right, maybe he wasn't he wasn't ready to work, but it was that he was injured in that Double or Nothing match with the Young Bucks. But Jeff Hardy being arrested, it was reported, and again, this is according to the toxicology or the blood alcohol report that happened when he took his test at the scene. Officer administered a breath test on Hardy. The first sample was a .294. The second sample a .291. The legal limit in Florida and most other states is .08, so he's nearly over four times actually the legal limit according to those breath tests. Again, it's a terrible situation. You guys can read the report on your own. Just Google it. Like, you guys can read more into it and about other things. Again, I will not speculate past that about where he is. All I will say is, as far as AEW goes, as far as wherever he's working for goes, I hope that whatever decision is made in the best interest of Jeff Hardy. It's both because we're fans of Jeff Hardy. We all should be. We should all be fans of Jeff Hardy because he has given us a lot of great moments over the years. And because his story mirrors the story of many people we know in our lives. And we shouldn't hold that against them. That's all I'm saying. I know there's a lot of people who are angry, upset, rightfully so, but I promise you no one's more upset about this than Jeff Hardy. MGT says, Omer, did you get mad when WWE released Hardy from not going to... Okay, so that was a different situation. That was a different situation. And let me be clear about when I say this. All the reports that Hardy was on something that night, all the reports, all the rumors within WWE that Hardy was intoxicated that night, that he jumped over the guardrail, they were proven to be false. They were all proven to be false and refuted by both Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. So it was not a situation where that the company just kind of essentially used that as a way to justify releasing, as a way to because he was obviously disgruntled. Again, that's what it is. But I am look, if Jeff Hardy needs help, he needs help, and I hope that whoever is there for him, whether it's Matt, whether it's Tony Khan, whether it's anyone, is there to help him, and he's going to need help both mentally, but also, unfortunately, in the court of law, where it's, again, third DUI offense of this magnitude in the past 10 years. He was 4 times over the legal limit this time, and not good. Cincy in the chat says Jeff Hardy's probably going to have to retire. Again, let's talk about this. There were calls for Jeff Hardy to retire prior to this. Just not based off of his personal life, not based off of the proverbial demons that we talk about, right? There were calls for Jeff Hardy to retire strictly based off of his in-ring style and in-ring work recently. Jeff Hardy has, like, the Darby Allin match withstanding, a lot of Jeff Hardy's matches have looked clunky. He has looked gassed. He obviously, guys, he's 44 years old. His body has been through more than some people have, like, in the past few years, than some people have in their entire careers. If you take his entire career, like, he has put himself through multiple car crashes for our entertainment, for the love of professional wrestling. Like he is the spot monkey that we all joke about and that Cornette talks about. He is the proverbial spot monkey. No one embodies that better than Jeff Hardy with his work and in-ring and out-ring style. So for him to be 44 years old, for the toll to have been taken on his body in the manner that it's been taken, for him to try to continue to do that same style at this age, it is unsustainable. We all know it's unsustainable, and we found out why. That doesn't mean that Jeff Hardy still can't do a match, but is it a Jeff Hardy match if he doesn't do the Jeff Hardy stuff? Like, it's one of those things, and it's not me trying to say he should do X, he should do Y, he should throw himself off a roof for our entertainment. No, but Jeff Hardy is the person who, he'll admit to you, he puts himself and sets himself to that standard. He always has, and I feel like he always will for as long as his in-ring career continues. So for me to try to change that, for me to try to tell him to change that is not going to work. I again will reiterate that, the Young Bucks match for a lot of people was like the one where people were genuinely concerned about whether or not he could go. And I think a lot of people did. He ended up being able to finish that match, but the concussion was troublesome. I genuinely wish Jeff Hardy would be able to wrestle for forever. He is one of the most fun to watch guys of all time. Because whenever you see Jeff Hardy in the ring, whenever you see him wrestle, whenever you see him go up on a ladder, go up on the stage, go up on whatever, on a wall in AEW. Let's not forget, just a few months ago, he climbed a wall. He jumped off a wall somehow. Like, it's crazy, the stuff he's willing to do for our entertainment. But at a certain point, I think even he has to realize that his body has limitations. And Father Time is, I would say, undefeated, but the only person Father Time hasn't defeated so far is Tom Brady. And I don't know if Father Time's ever going to catch up to that one. But Tom Brady withstanding, Father Time catches up to everybody. Jeff Hardy is no exception to that. So that's where that stands. If you have more questions about Jeff Hardy, we can talk about it a little more. I'm going to start to pivot a little bit away from Jeff Hardy as I just close it out here. The one of the last things I'll talk about here, unless you guys have questions, is the fact that Hardy was scheduled, or at this point is currently scheduled, kind of. Okay. Hardy was scheduled for a match on AEW Dynamite, the Triple Threat Tag Team title match. Young Bucks, Young Bucks, Jurassic Express, and the Hardy Boys Triple Threat Tag Team match. No word on what the replacement for that might be because Jeff Hardy's due in court in Florida on Tuesday. It would be difficult, I think. It would be, I mean, he's probably going to get out on bail or whatever, but it would be, I think it would be unwise. It would be not a good look. And it just honestly probably is 99% chance it's not happening. I don't think Jeff Hardy's going to be on Dynamite on Wednesday. They'll figure it out. They'll replace him with probably Lucha Bros or someone else and have a crazy match and a great match. But I do not see Jeff Hardy being on Dynamite. He's due in court tomorrow on Tuesday, June 14th at 1:30 p.m. in Florida. So we'll see what happens from there. Again, I want to be clear. This was it's a bad mistake. Like DUI, driving under the influence. I don't want to make it out to be something small and not a serious offense. It's a serious offense, and people shouldn't do it. And Jeff Hardy is one of those people who I would like to think doesn't have an issue when it comes to getting an Uber or phoning someone to get him home or help him out in a tough spot like that. I don't drink and drive, people. It's not good for you. You can hurt yourself. You can hurt others. It's not a good look. And fortunately, no one else got hurt. Personally, no one got hurt in this situation. But yeah, again, it's a very somber and serious topic. MGT in the chat says Tony Khan should not let Jeff Hardy do those crazy stunts in his matches. He should just use the twist of fate and the finisher, not the swanton. Yeah, the swanton lately as well has been. I was very concerned for a little bit there that Jeff Hardy was going to fall on his neck doing the swanton bomb because he just kind of flops. Like he just kind of flops over and does it, and it's just it's kind of like when Lita used to do her moonsault. You remember that when Lita used to do her moonsault, and it wasn't like really a moonsault. She just kind of like flopped in like one motion. And it was just and you're just worried every time she was gonna land on her head. And like I mean, not Jeff Hardy always used to do the swanton bomb greatly, but now it's just there's not as much elevation on it as there used to be. But yeah, that's where we are with Jeff Hardy, guys. It's a troublesome situation. You hate to see it. Like, Jeff Hardy's one of those guys, too. You hate to see this type of stuff with Jeff Hardy. And he's made strides, man. He's made strides in his life, in his career, in everything. And all you can do is hope that he gets better. Like, here's the thing. I don't want to beat him down. I do not want to beat Jeff Hardy down. You genuinely should hope that as people progress in life, no matter how old you are, you get better. You should want to see the best in people. You should want people to be better human beings, to learn from their mistakes. And it might take them a few times. But, again, I can't underestimate or understate how serious this is. Like, he could have hurt someone. He definitely could have hurt someone, but thank God he didn't. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Be sure to leave a 5-star review and send this to your friends as well. Yeah, there really isn't much. Liam27 in the chat, welcome Liam, in the chat asks, what's he done now? I'll just reiterate very quickly. Jeff Hardy was arrested for driving with a suspended license, driving under the influence, which was his third such charge in the past 10 years, which he's facing some possible jail time for. His blood alcohol level, again, was a .294. Legal limit in Florida is .08. That was nearly 4 times the limit on Jeff Hardy's blood alcohol test. Again, you wish the best for Jeff Hardy. You wish the best for the Hardy family. I'm sure Matt's devastated by this as well. But he needs to focus on his health. I think MGT, you mentioned that right there. To be honest, I was not that excited that Jeff Hardy signed with AEW because I just wanted the guy to take a year off from wrestling because he was really banged up. He needs to focus more on his health. I agree. Like, especially in retrospect, it was cool. It was cool for him to come out, do the whole that was cool. But number one, he should have just taken care of himself. He should take care of himself. Everyone should. Liam in the chat says, Liam27, have you forgotten me? No, I have not. I just never saw the 27. I've never noticed the 27 in your name. So I just like, let me say the 27. Let me get the 27 real quick in there, Of course, how could I forget you, Liam? You're a mod. Come on now. You're an OG. You're a real take OG. Guys, be sure to hit that like button, by the way, Liam. As you come on in, guys, feel free to ask your questions. You can ask whatever you want. I'm gonna be here for probably another 30-ish minutes. Again, I'm gonna try to do this show, like this Wrestling with Omer show, at least once a week. Next Monday night there won't be one because I'm going to be on vacation. Well-deserved vacation, damn it. So there won't be one on Monday. I'll try to find a time later in the week. We're still going to be doing OT Graps every single Tuesday night, live right here on Real Take Wrestling. But I thought I'd add this in as just kind of like an engaging show. You ask whatever questions you want, we'll answer it, we'll talk about it, we'll have fun, and we'll just do a show. But yep, that's the Jeff Hardy thing. I honestly, there's not much else to talk about. Again, I refuse to speculate on his problems as far as substance abuse goes. I am not going to get into that. That has been well documented in the past. You can Google it, and whatever we find out in the future is what we're meant to find out. I am not going to speculate on someone's substance abuse issues like that. I've grown to understand that that's not an appropriate thing to do, honestly, unless we know more facts publicly. All I can comment on is what we already know, and we know the blood alcohol test, so that's all I really feel comfortable discussing at this moment. Guys, let me know what else you want to discuss, though, in the chat. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Since he says, Omer got Alzheimer's. No, I don't. Doug, I just never noticed a 27 in the chat before. That was it. Well, why y'all hating? Don't hate. Collaborate. Guys, let's move on and talk about Paige. So this was big news. Paige is leaving WWE. Paige is leaving WWE, and Liam in the chat says, OT Craps, new show with Omer, new show, Wrestling with Omer, new show, Toon Talk. Oh, God. It's coming. It's coming. I promise you, it's coming. It's like you know what I feel like? I feel like George R.R. Martin in Game of Thrones. You guys ever seen that South Park episode with George R.R. Martin? It's like, where are the dragons? Oh, they're coming. And they're gonna be big. like that's me with Toon Talk. I'm just like, it's coming. It's like Veer. Real Take Toon Talk is gonna come like Veer. I promise you. It's gonna take now, Liam. I'm just gonna troll you with the Toon Talk is coming graphics every week, just to troll you. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe. Liam in the chat says, "Wow, you didn't do that right, Paige." Or Liam, you could have done the whole Paige here. Paige here. Not anymore in WWE. Paige is leaving WWE. She announced just a few days ago that she is going to be leaving. It is either her contract expiring or WWE not choosing to, or it's either her contract expiring or WWE releasing her. I think it's more so the former. It is more so that her contract is likely expiring on July 4th. Yep, July 4th. Contract is expiring. She's going to be a free agent, and she also hinted in her statement on Twitter that she is going to be wrestling. Let me see if I can find the actual statement so you all can see it. But it's big news, and it really was a shock to a lot of people because no one expected it. It kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. Here is the full statement here from Paige. Paige here. Sorry, July 7th was the day. My bad. July 7th will be my last day in WWE. I'm so thankful, and I appreciate the opportunities that the company has given me. She went on to say in the final paragraph or the final sentence of this statement, FYI, I'm not saying I'll never be in the ring. That day will most certainly come again, wherever the return may be. So obviously a little teasing there by Paige here on God, people are gonna roast me for that. A little tease by Paige there. I'm making myself laugh. But a little teasing by Paige there about where she possibly could land. I also did a stream on this, I believe either yesterday or day before yesterday, discussing the news. So go check that out if you haven't already to hear my thoughts, my original thoughts on that. But Paige to AEW. Everyone wants to talk about it. Everyone knows that is the ultimate landing spot. You want to say it's not the only landing spot. I don't think it's the most likely landing spot initially. I think that, again, this is me purely speculating on what she might do, but I think that Paige probably will go over to back home to England. She's probably going to do her first show at her parents' school or at her parents' company, and I think Paige honestly is presented with a very unique opportunity because, as Liam, I'm sure you know, the UK indie scene from like 2014 to 2019, 2020 was insane. It was it was like everybody was watching the UK wrestling scene, and it was due to the likes of people like Drew Galloway. It was due to the likes of people like Gredo. It was due to it was due to like people like Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay, so many people like England, the UK, Ireland, Scotland, Ireland. That became one of the most awesome places to work in the entire world, and it was a hot scene. It revitalized the entire UK wrestling scene, like that era, that little run they had, and then COVID came in, completely ruined it. Like the UK wrestling scene has not recovered. That is like AEW is doing fine, WWE is doing great, New Japan's getting better, but the UK wrestling scene as a whole has just almost died. And Paige is someone who has both the credibility, has the credibility and the name recognition. The credibility and the actual talent to go out there and almost single-handedly help revitalize the UK wrestling indie scene. And that is something she could do that. She could do that for 6 months, 8 months, a year. And by the time she comes over, and whether it's WWE, whether it's AEW, she is going to be a hotter commodity. She's going to get a higher asking, or she can ask for a higher asking price, get more money from her contract. Like, trust me on that one. I promise you. Liam in the chat says, could have kept her in WWE and sent her NXT UK. The issue with WWE is they were not going to clear her. They were not going to clear Paige to wrestle. Like that, they made that abundantly clear. She's wanted to wrestle for a very long time now. The WWE have refused to clear her. So that's the situation she was presented. It looks like is either choosing not to sign, WWE is choosing not to sign her or re-sign her. And she's going to be a free agent. And it's not a matter of whether or not she's going to get cleared. Look, AEW is the only place that I seriously think is going to put maybe an actual hurdle in front of her as far as wrestling goes. And any independent scene, any independent organization, any independent wrestling company is going to let her wrestle. She is going to wrestle. I promise you that. The only question is she going to go independence first, or is she going to go and jump right into AEW or right into Impact Wrestling or what have you? These are serious questions. She's going to get paid more in AEW. Like, if you want to get paid the most money, go in AEW. If you want to make comparable money, like almost that same level of money, just dominate the UK indie scene. I promise you. Like, she is one person who could single-handedly revitalize it. And that's how much confidence I have in both her ability. Because here's the thing. People don't realize, Paige is not that old. Her run in WWE was from 2014 to like 2016. Like, really. Her full-time run in WWE was only like 2 years. And she made such an impact. She is still one of the best wrestlers in the world, period. And on top of all of that, she's still only 29 years old. She is not even in the same stratosphere of her as her peak yet. She's still got a long way to go to reach her peak, which is crazy to think about because she's so good. MGT says, Liam, send her to NXT UK to do what? Yeah, what is NXT UK doing? I have not heard from Ilya Dragunov since he won the NXT UK title. Maybe it's my fault. I'm not paying attention, but I have not heard a peep from NXT UK in a while. Liam says, I have a topic that you can tell me about. I have a topic you can tell me about. I'm not a big AEW guy. What happened with MJF and the pipe bomb promo? Well, I'll talk about that after the Paige stuff. I promise you. I'll talk about that and explain that a little bit and how that's progressed and where that is currently. MGT says WWE were very high on Paige, not high enough to have her wrestle. Like it really came down to that. They were not high enough to have her wrestle. And when you're faced with that, if you're WWE side, it's one of those things where they are cutting all these people. They've gutted entire departments in corporate. They have released over 100 wrestlers. Why? Budget cuts, right? You have someone who is not wrestling, who is not even on TV anymore as an authority figure. She stopped being an authority figure like back in 2018, 2019. There is very little reason to have Paige on TV. They couldn't find a place for her. She's been just sitting home doing nothing. It's not good for Paige. Not good for WWE in their current business structure. Doesn't make any sense for the two sides to come together, especially if they're not going to clear Paige to wrestle. So that's why I think this kind of happened. As far as what she does, Liam in the chat says, Paige to GBFWB, Grado's Big Family Wrestling Bash. Is that a real thing? Is Grado's Big Family Wrestling Bash a real thing? Because if it is, we might have to do a live stream for that. Grado's Big Family Wrestling Bash 2022. Oh my God, it's a real thing. The Pavilion Theater. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, it already happened. 7th of May. Excuse me. Already happened. 7th of May. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, she can make the next one always. Guys, as always, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Liam in the chat says, I have a feeling that if Paige can do a few years wrestling, consistently do well, they will bring her back for a Rumble. It's possible. Like this, the one thing I have learned about professional wrestling since 2020, never say never about anything. Like, think about the unimaginable things that have happened in pro wrestling over the past few years. Edge returning. Christian Cage returning. The rise of AEW. Just AEW existing. The COVID pandemic. CM Punk's return. The Undisputed Era being a headliner in AEW in 2021. Like think about all the different things that have happened over the past few years. WWE releasing all the superstars that they have. WWE being as profitable as they are. Like never say never. Cody, going back to WWE, never say never in pro wrestling. Like, if there is one big takeaway, never say never in pro wrestling. Liam says, there's one coming in October. There we go. Paige, for Grado. It's possible. Since he says, Paige to DPW just because DPW would be crazy. Liam says, Paige to CYN. I hope not. Man, I don't know, man. Control your narrative. Control your nothing. More like it. Excuse me for yawning. That is not professional. But yeah, control your something. Mind your language. Liam, have you ever heard about that show, Mind Your Language? It's very old, and I don't even think you're. Never mind. It's British. You might have heard of it, but Mind Your Language is a really, really good show. That I've watched a boatload of YouTube videos about. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty funny. Mind Your Language. Love to have it. Love to see it. Liam says, Paige to Real Take Wrestling. There we go. Paige to CZW. That would be interesting. Could you imagine her at at the CZW Deathmatch tournament? That'd be wild. I don't think that's happening, though. I think Paige is going to want to optimize her money and optimize her fun, honestly. I think she'd have a lot of fun doing the indies. But I do think the first place she's going to wrestle is for her family's wrestling company. I do think that's where she's going to make her big return. And it would make sense. It would totally make sense. But yeah, that Paige here. Not in WWE anymore, though. Interesting, guys. Again, if you haven't already, I'm tired. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Liam says, was that the show on ITV in the late 70s? Yes, it was the show on ITV in the late 70s. It was an amazing show, by the way. Like I don't want to underestimate it. Like guys, big shout out to Big Barry Evans on that show. That was a great show. But mind your language. Go watch it if you haven't already. Cincy, that's your homework assignment for tomorrow night. Go watch it. Guys, let's move on and talk about what Liam wanted to talk about. And that is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. He was the man of the weekend. I need a nap. That's what it is. I need a nap. He was the man of the weekend for AEW Double or Nothing because he controlled the entire narrative on some EC3 shiznit that weekend. It was crazy. Like when I was seeing the amount of news that was breaking, when I was getting texts from friends, texts from people who work in wrestling, or messages from people who work in wrestling media, it was crazy. Like some of the stuff that you were hearing about this, like the whole plane ticket thing. It was an insane time. But we're here now. Ever since then, MJF has cut a scathing promo on Tony Khan on the LA Forum episode of AEW Dynamite. Ever since then, he has not been seen. Now, let me take you through the timeline of things that weekend, Liam, so it kind of makes sense, and for anyone who hasn't heard it. So Saturday, MJF misses that AEW FanFest signing. He just no-shows it. He's upset about his contract. There were reports that him and Tony Khan had some sort of argument, some sort of falling out before that. He is unhappy about his contract up until that point. No one hears from him. There's reports of that ticket being bought. That was bought. Someone bought that ticket for MJF. It might not have been MJF, but someone wasted $2,000 on that ticket for MJF. So no one hears from him. He shows up on the day of the pay-per-view, shows up right before his match, leaves right after. And then Monday, in Vegas, Tony Khan and MJF have a sit down. They talk it out, and from what we saw on the Dynamite right after Double or Nothing, it looks like they worked things out, because that was 100% a work. There is no way that MJF goes out there and cuts that promo without this being a work. I'm not saying that everything in that promo was a work. I'm not saying MJF didn't feel some of those things in that promo. He could very well have felt that way at a certain point, or even at that point still. He could very well feel that way. But I do think there was an understanding that was come to. I think that MJF and Tony Khan are going to be fine as far as the rest of his contract goes. I don't think there's a chance that AEW is going to release him. The bidding war of 2024 is still real. I could still see MJF going to WWE. I could see him re-signing with AEW if the money is right. But for MJF, I think that what we're likely about to see is he is going to be off TV for a while. Whether it's 6 weeks, whether it's 6 months, he's going to be off TV for a while. And he's going to show back up, and this is an angle. This is 100% an angle. I know Liam in the chat just says, would they name drop WWE twice? They've done it before. They've name dropped MJF has name dropped WWE multiple times on television. He did it in the Punk promo. They've done it multiple times before. It's a work. It's 100% a work. Just like Punk name dropped ROH in his pipe bomb promo, MJF in his nuke. That's what you should call it. It wasn't a pipe bomb. He dropped the nukes, baby. That's what he said. In his nuke, he dropped WWE just like Punk dropped Ring of Honor and Colt Cabana in his pipe bomb promo. So that's not it. He would not have a live mic. The fact that he was able. You want to know why this was a work? Like the biggest reason why this was a work. The fact that when he called Tony Khan an effing mark, they bleeped it out instead of just cutting it because look back to AEW, they don't bleep it. They cut the sound entirely. You hear nothing. You hear a lull in what they're saying. They knew exactly when that was coming. It was the cleanest bleep you've ever seen, the cleanest cut of a cuss word you've ever seen. And there's a reason for that. Everybody in the truck knew it was coming, because that was what he was going to say. That was what he was supposed to say. So it's a work. I think this is a shoot that turned into a work. MJF was legitimately and might still be somewhat pissed off at his current situation in AEW. We know he's not making nearly as much as people who were brought in after him. He's not making as much as Big Show. He's not making as much as Mark Henry. He's obviously not making as much as Punk and Bryan. And he's unhappy about that. And he's got a reason to be. He's got a reason to be. He is the second biggest draw in that company. Period. He is the second biggest draw in that company. So, it's what it is. Liam in the chat says, "Hey, Omer, would you treat me better if I was an American guy?" No, I don't treat you any different than I treat anyone else. In fact, I might treat you better since you're from Scotland. I almost said Ireland, and I was thinking about OSW. Liam in the chat says, WWE Raw, Seth Rollins is in a feud with Kevin Owens. Owens, with Sami Zayn, said Seth is egotistical, and that's why he has no friends. Seth smirks. MJF's music plays. Hey, buddy. January 1st, 2024, that very well could happen. That very well could happen January 1st, 2024. Until then, we'll see. Guys, we're heading down the home stretch of this show. We only got about... I'm going to do this for another 5 minutes. But so get your questions in. Get your questions in. Get your comments in. All that stuff in the next 5 minutes. We're going to go home. Yeah, since he says dub for MJF. And look, do I think MJF also probably agreed to a restructure of his contract as far as getting more money? He should have. He should have. If he's that angry, he should have. And again, it is one of those things that wrestling is an emotional sport. Wrestlers are a weird group of people, very emotional group of people. They always have been, always will be. The lines are always blurred when it comes to pro wrestling. The lines are always blurred. Liam says, oh, sorry, he's not Big Show. He's Paul White. He says Big Show equals underrated. He fit a role for a lot of his... He was always there. He was always reliable. Like, I know he gets a lot of crap for the New Year's baby thing. I give him a lot of crap for the New Year's baby thing and him dressing up as Santa Claus and him being like a walking Halloween costume and a walking, like, turn signal left, right, heel, face, you know. But Big Show, like, Big Show is really still really good in the ring. Like, the fact that Big Show is still alive is a testament to his own conditioning and his own, like, for him to be, like, that big and to have, like, genuinely to be this healthy is a great thing to see, because you see a lot of giants who aren't in that way historically, especially in pro wrestling. And I like, it's great to see Big Show healthy, smiling, doing some great stuff, by the way, on Dark Elevation for those of you guys who don't watch it. Liam says, I'm gonna head out 5 minutes early, need to sleep, it's late, have a brilliant night, rest of the week, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night on OT Graps. Liam, have a good night, get some rest, well deserved rest as always. Guys, home stretch here. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos release. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review on some RVD shiznit. And be sure to tell your friends about Real Take Wrestling, youtube.com/Real Take Wrestling, and on Twitter at Real Take Sports, Real Take Sports Talk, live every week, sometimes, on www.youtube.com/Real Take Sports. OT Graps live every Tuesday night on youtube.com/Real Take Wrestling. And, of course, Wrestling with Omer, new show right here on www.Real Take Wrestling. I messed that up. It's www.youtube.com/Real Take Wrestling. I got a shill machine, guys. Liam says, hey... Oh my God, got him, Liam. Since he says Liam is slumped, Liam responds with a, hey, I'm surprised you're still awake, mate. Got it. Oh my God, Liam, that was oof. He got you, Cincy. Like there's absolutely nothing you can say to that. That was tough. That was oof. Like, go to sleep after that one, Cincy. Go to sleep. He got you. Like, oof. Hit him with that. Oh man, I'm sorry. Oh my god, that was crazy. Liam, why'd you have to do him like that? Like he's completely. And he hit him with that
emotional damage.
crazy. Had emotional damage. Liam says no tune talk. Crazy. Liam says it's midnight. What's your excuse, Cincy? Yeah, Cincy. I don't think Cincy's got an excuse. I think Cincy's just a tired bean. He's a tired dude. He's still recovering from staying up late to watch the Super Bowl back in February. All love Cincy. All love Liam. All love MGT. All love to everyone here in the chat who has joined us for this spectacular show. We'll try to do these more often. Again, we're not going to be doing one on Monday night, this coming Monday, because I'm going to be on holiday. Thank God. And we'll be back tomorrow with we'll be back tomorrow with OT Raps, me and Trevor talking about all the biggest stories in the world of pro wrestling. We'll try to do this show again next week sometime. I'll reschedule it. But until next time, everyone, be happy, be healthy. And as always, keep it real. Night, guys.